Have you ever wondered if that innocent egg you crack each morning might be the very thing silently draining your strength, your memory, even your performance as a man? For years, eggs were labeled a villain, blamed for heart attacks, cholesterol spikes, and artery damage. Then suddenly, they became a superfood. So what's the truth? After age 60, when every bite matters more than ever, is that morning egg a silent risk or a secret weapon? I'm Dr. Mohit Khera, a men's health physician with over 3 decades of experience helping older men reclaim their strength, their energy, and their vitality, without gimmicks, just science. And I can tell you this, when it comes to eggs, most men your age are either missing out or getting it dangerously wrong. Because here's the paradox. That same egg can protect your muscles, sharpen your memory, and restore your confidence. Or it can raise your risk of stroke, shrink your testosterone, and clog your most vital blood vessels. It all depends on how many you eat, how you cook them, and what you put on your plate beside them. The difference isn't obvious, but it's powerful. In the next few minutes, you'll discover the 9 real reasons eggs can either restore your manhood or rob you of it. I'll show you the exact cooking methods, smart pairings, and weekly plan to make eggs your greatest health ally after 60. And later, I'll reveal the #1 mistake that turns a good egg into a silent threat. Let's begin, because what you eat in the morning may shape who you become tomorrow. Before we dive in, if you're a man over 60 who cares about staying strong, sharp, and independent, I invite you to subscribe and tap the bell, so you never miss a health tip designed just for you. And if this video helps you see eggs in a new light, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0, and let me know how I can better serve your health and future. Let's begin with what I believe is the most overlooked reason men over 60 start to feel weaker, slower, and less stable on their feet: the quiet loss of muscle. What most people don't realize is that the egg, yes, that simple food in your fridge, may be one of your strongest defenses against this decline. 1. The muscle secret, hidden in your morning egg. I've seen it too many times in my clinic. Men in their late 60s or 70s who were once active and confident now struggling to stand from a chair, climb stairs, or carry groceries without fatigue. It doesn't happen overnight. It creeps in slowly, quietly, almost invisibly, and most of them think it's just getting old. But what they're really experiencing is sarcopenia, the natural but preventable loss of muscle mass that begins after 60. Here's the part no one tells you. You can lose up to 1% of your muscle every single year if you don't take action. That might not sound like much, but over time, it adds up to weakness, falls, slower recovery, and loss of independence. But what if I told you that one of the most powerful tools to fight this decline is already sitting in your refrigerator? One egg contains 6 to 7 grams of high-quality, complete protein. That means it has all 9 essential amino acids your body needs to maintain muscle but can't produce on its own. Unlike red meat, it's easier to digest, lower in saturated fat, and gentler on aging kidneys. And it's fast, no need for fancy cooking or complicated prep. What's more, that protein doesn't just help your legs or arms. It supports your testosterone levels, stabilizes your blood sugar, improves insulin sensitivity, and even strengthens the very muscles that control blood flow and performance in the bedroom. When you fuel your muscles, you're also fueling your manhood. And yet, protein is just the beginning. Inside that same egg is another little-known nutrient that 90% of older men aren't getting enough of. A nutrient that protects your memory, sharpens your focus, and may even guard your brain against aging. Let's talk about it next. 2. Choline, the brain performance nutrient that 90% of seniors lack. I still remember a patient of mine, James, 72, who came in worried about his forgetfulness. He used to lead teams, manage projects, and remember everyone's birthdays. Now he was misplacing his keys, losing track of conversations, and even forgetting names of close friends. He feared it was the early stages of something worse. But what surprised him most was that part of the answer lay in something as ordinary as an egg. Inside every egg is a powerful nutrient called choline. Most people have never even heard of it, yet it plays a central role in how our brains function, especially as we age. Choline helps your body produce acetylcholine, a key neurotransmitter that supports memory, learning, focus, and muscle control. Without it, your brain simply can't communicate as sharply or clearly as it once did. The scary truth? Over 90% of Americans, especially older adults, are choline deficient. And that includes men who otherwise think they're eating well. But here's the good news. One large egg gives you nearly 30% of your daily choline needs. It's a simple, natural way to nourish your brain every morning without relying on pills or powders. There's more. Choline also helps repair brain cell membranes and reduce inflammation, two things that are deeply linked to Alzheimer's and dementia. In fact, a long-term study found that older adults with higher choline intake had sharper memory and less brain shrinkage over time. James started eating eggs regularly, not as a cure, but as a commitment to his mind. Within weeks, he felt clearer, more alert, more himself. But there's another nutrient in eggs that's equally powerful, one that doesn't just support the brain, but also sharpens your vision and circulation in ways most men never expect. Let's dive into that next. 3. Eggs, eyes, and erections. The surprising vision connection. A few years ago, one of my older patients, Ron, joked that he couldn't read a restaurant menu without squinting, or enjoy an intimate moment without worrying about performance. What he didn't realize was that both problems, though seemingly unrelated, shared a surprising connection: circulation. And one of the simplest foods that supports both? The egg. You see, inside the yolk are two powerful antioxidants, lutein and zeaxanthin. Most people associate them with eye health, and for good reason. These nutrients help filter harmful blue light, reduce inflammation in the retina, and slow the progression of age-related vision loss, especially macular degeneration. After 60, protecting your eyesight isn't just about glasses or magnifiers, it's about feeding your eyes from within. But here's what many men don't know. Lutein and zeaxanthin aren't only concentrated in your eyes, they're also present in brain tissue and even in the male reproductive system, where they help fight inflammation and support microcirculation. That means better blood flow, not just for seeing clearly, but for performing confidently. Even better, the form of lutein found in eggs is far more bioavailable than what you'd get from spinach or kale. Thanks to the healthy fats in the yolk, your body can actually absorb and use it. It's not about eating more, it's about eating smarter. Ron began adding soft-boiled eggs to his meals a few times a week. Not only did his eyes feel less strained, but he noticed a spark returning where he'd thought it was long gone. And while vision and circulation are vital, there's another question that lingers in the minds of many older men. What about cholesterol? Isn't that the real danger in eggs? Well, the truth may surprise you, and it's time to clear the air. 4. The great cholesterol debate, separating myth from male health. I can't count how many men have walked into my office over the years, eyes wide with guilt, whispering, "Doc, I still eat eggs, but don't tell my cardiologist." Somewhere along the line, eggs became the enemy, especially for older men worried about heart attacks and strokes. But here's the truth, plain and simple. The cholesterol in eggs is not the villain it was made out to be. Each egg yolk contains about 185 to 200 milligrams of cholesterol, and for decades, we believed that dietary cholesterol directly raised blood cholesterol. But modern research has shown that your body is far more intelligent than that. When you eat cholesterol, your liver actually produces less. It balances itself, like a thermostat. For the vast majority of people, especially older men without existing heart disease, eating up to 1 egg per day is not only safe, it's often beneficial. In fact, major studies, including those from Harvard and the British Medical Journal, have found no clear link between moderate egg consumption and increased risk of heart disease or stroke. The real problem isn't the egg, it's what's next to it on the plate. A fried egg alongside bacon, white toast, and butter? That's inflammation in disguise. But a poached egg with spinach, avocado, and whole grain toast? That's a heart-smart meal. When one of my patients, a retired firefighter named Bill, made that simple shift, his cholesterol numbers didn't go up, they actually improved. More importantly, he felt less fear and more freedom at breakfast. So no, eggs aren't your enemy, but what you cook them in and what you serve them with can make or break your health. And as we talk about heart health, there's something else tied closely to it that most men overlook: your mood, your hormones, and the hidden nutrients that control them. Let's talk about that next. 5. Vitamin D plus B12 equals the mood and bedroom booster. Not long ago, I sat with a patient named Harold, 68, who told me something that stuck with me. He said, "Doc, I'm not depressed exactly, but I don't feel like myself anymore. I'm tired, irritable, and honestly, my wife notices more than I do." It wasn't just his energy, it was his mood, his sleep, and his confidence as a man. And after some simple blood work, we found two things missing that many older men never think to check: vitamin D and vitamin B12. These two nutrients may not get as much attention as testosterone or cholesterol, but they play a critical role in how you feel, think, and perform. Vitamin D, often called the sunshine vitamin, isn't just about bones. It helps regulate mood, supports your immune system, and plays a surprising role in testosterone production and blood flow. Meanwhile, vitamin B12 protects your nerves, helps your brain communicate, and keeps your energy steady. Without enough B12, even your reflexes and focus can suffer. Worse, low levels can cause tingling, numbness, and depressive symptoms that many mistake for just aging. Here's where eggs come in. One large egg provides about 10% of your daily B12 needs and a modest amount of vitamin D, especially if you choose pasture-raised or enriched eggs. That may not sound like a lot, but when added to a thoughtful diet, it helps restore balance from the inside out. Harold started eating 2 eggs a few times a week. Nothing fancy. Within a month, he told me, "Doc, I feel like someone flipped the switch back on." And yet, even the most nutritious egg can become a problem if you cook it the wrong way. The method you use could be helping or quietly harming your arteries. Let's look at that next. 6. The cooking trap that turns eggs into a hidden risk. A patient of mine once said, "Doc, I eat eggs almost every morning, scrambled in butter with a side of bacon. That's healthy, right?" He meant well. He thought the eggs were doing his body good. But what he didn't realize was that the way he was cooking them was quietly working against him. And unfortunately, he's not alone. Most older men believe the egg is the issue when, in fact, it's the heat, the fat, and the things we throw on the plate beside it. Here's the truth. When you fry eggs in butter or cook them over high heat, you're not just adding calories, you're creating something called oxidized cholesterol. That's the kind of cholesterol that damages blood vessels, causes inflammation, and contributes to plaque buildup. And if your eggs come with processed meats like bacon or sausage, you're compounding the problem with saturated fat and sodium, two of the biggest enemies of male circulation and heart health. Now contrast that with how your eggs could be. A soft-boiled egg or a poached egg cooked gently in water keeps the nutrients intact, preserving things like choline, lutein, and vitamin B. Scrambling them slowly in a bit of olive oil with vegetables like spinach or tomatoes not only protects your heart, it fuels your brain and testosterone too. One man I worked with made that switch. He didn't change what he ate, just how he cooked it. Weeks later, his blood pressure was down, his energy was up, and his wife told him he seemed lighter, more alive. The cooking method matters more than you think, but there's another factor most men never consider: the ingredients surrounding the egg. Some foods you eat with it will fuel your strength, while others will quietly steal it. Let's break that down next. 7. Egg pairings that hurt and help male performance. One morning, a man named George, 74, retired mechanic, proud grandfather, told me he'd been eating eggs every day, hoping to feel stronger and more energized, but nothing had changed. "I thought I was doing everything right," he said. And on the surface, he was. He was committed. He was consistent. But then I asked him what he was eating with the eggs. His answer? White toast, butter, sausage, and sometimes even a sugary cereal on the side. That's when I explained the part few people talk about. It's not just the egg, it's the company it keeps. Because while the egg is packed with nutrients that support your brain, heart, and manhood, Pairing it with processed meats, refined carbs, or fried sides turns your plate into a battlefield. Bacon and sausage, loaded with sodium and nitrates, trigger inflammation. White toast and sugary cereals spike your blood sugar and crash your energy. Butter adds unnecessary saturated fat. The result? You cancel out the very benefits you're trying to gain. But when you flip the script, when you pair eggs with the right foods, you unlock their full power. Imagine a poached egg on whole grain toast with sliced avocado, or a veggie scramble with spinach, tomatoes, and olive oil. Add some berries, a few almonds, maybe even a spoon of Greek yogurt. These foods don't just add flavor, they boost blood flow, support hormone production, and stabilize your mood and energy. George made that change, and weeks later, he said something I'll never forget. "I didn't know food could make me feel this good." So yes, your egg matters, but your plate matters just as much. And now that we've covered the good, the bad, and the risky, it's time to make this real. Let me walk you through a simple weekly egg plan, designed just for men over 60. 8. Your weekly egg plan for vitality, performance, and longevity. I found that most older men don't need extreme diets. They need clarity and consistency. That's why I often give my patients something simple: a weekly egg plan tailored to support male vitality after 60. And I want to share that same plan with you right now. No counting calories, no complicated recipes, just a rhythm that works with your body, not against it. Start your week strong with 2 soft-boiled eggs on Monday morning, paired with sautéed spinach and half an avocado. That's your circulation starter, your nitric oxide boost, your testosterone nudge. On Wednesday, make a veggie scramble. Use 3 eggs, olive oil, bell peppers, and mushrooms. It's colorful, nourishing, and deeply satisfying. Friday? Go with a poached egg over a slice of whole grain toast, topped with sliced tomato and a drizzle of olive oil. That's your heart-friendly, brain-sharpening combo to head into the weekend feeling centered. On the days in between, you can rest from eggs, but keep the quality protein going. Maybe some Greek yogurt, a protein smoothie with flaxseed, or even cottage cheese with berries. The key is not just the egg itself, but how it fits into a nourishing pattern. Over time, this rhythm reduces inflammation, supports hormone levels, strengthens arteries, and boosts your energy throughout the day. And here's the best part. Many of the men who followed this simple routine report more than just better labs. They sleep better, move easier, and feel more confident in their skin. One man told me, "Doc, I feel like I'm back in sync with myself." But there's still one last question to answer. The one most men don't even know they should be asking. What does the latest science say about eggs and long-term disease risk, especially cancer and prostate health? You need to hear this. Let's finish strong. 9. What science really says about eggs, cancer, and prostate health. A lot of older men I speak to are quietly worried, not about cholesterol or calories, but cancer, especially prostate cancer. And I get it. There's been a wave of conflicting headlines. Some claim eggs are dangerous, others say they're harmless. So let me break it down, not with fear, but with facts and perspective. Years ago, one small study suggested that men who ate a lot of eggs, specifically 7 or more per week, might have a higher risk of prostate cancer progression. But here's what most articles didn't tell you. The study didn't account for how the eggs were cooked, what they were eaten with, or the overall lifestyle of the participants. And it didn't prove causation, only a loose correlation. Since then, newer and larger studies have offered a clearer picture. When eggs are eaten as part of a balanced, whole food diet, especially with vegetables, healthy fats, and fiber, they are not linked to a significant increase in cancer risk. In fact, nutrients in eggs like choline, selenium, and vitamin D may actually support healthy cell function and hormonal balance, which can protect prostate tissue when consumed in moderation. The bottom line? Eggs are not your enemy, but isolation, stress, inactivity, and processed foods, those are the silent risks that chip away at your vitality over time. So as we wrap up, remember this: the egg is a tool. What matters is how you use it. Eat smart, cook gently, pair wisely, and listen to your body, your energy, your mood, your manhood. they're still in your hands, and it's never too late to feel alive again.